My name is Wanda McFaggen. My Indian name is Bidabanukwe, which translates to daybreak woman, or the first morning light that you see, first morning coming woman. My clan is Magizi clan. I am from Maytawingag, Sand Lake community. Indujimba is my community. I've been working for the Preservation Office for 12 years now. I created this department from scratch. We've gotten involved in many aspects of the Indian way of life. We do a lot of things for the tribe. We do some family histories. We do history, general history, St. Croix history. We oversee the archaeological sites, the sacred sites, anything that has an importance to the tribe. It's my duty to go and investigate and see what's being done that has a significance to the tribe, such as with burial mounds. We went down to Madison and we were documenting the collections down there, meaning human remains, funerary items, which are items that are buried with that person when they go, such as your pipe, such as your medicine bag, anything that you may need over there in the other world. We need a listing of all of these things because we have the right to recall some of these items back under certain criteria. We have a lot of things down there, not St. Croix per se, because we were once known as the Lost Tribe, so we don't have very much down there. But I work with a lot of the human remains that are down there, and when we went down there, I went with a bunch of elders, and so we go into the Historical Society and we go down into the basement, I guess, and they have this great big locked door, and it's a really heavy steel door, and you can punch in your number and it'll only give you a certain time to make it through that door before it needs to shut or the alarm will go off. So in our way, you know, we don't rush our elders. We don't disrespect them in that way. We wait for them as long as, you know, it takes them. So when we went down into this basement, we had to rush our elders through before that alarm went off, and we couldn't do it all at once. So some of us had to stay back and be locked out for a little while before we could re-enter. So once we all got inside this big locked door, we followed another hallway, which is all blocks. And to me, it reminds me of a jail or a prison, because it's those cinder blocks, and that's what it is. So we go down this hallway again, and it looks like a dungeon to me. And we come to this big bar. It's like jail bars. And so they have to open that door for us, and we have to scoot through that door too. And then we come into this room. It's probably twice the size of both my offices here, where they have tables. And in the middle of tables are just gloves, just all kinds of gloves. So we go through the back here, and we go through another big steel locked door. And again, we have to rush through because of the alarm. And we get into there, and it's a room like this. And there's shelves from the floor. The ceiling is way higher than this, but there's shelves all the way from the ceiling to the ground. And they have boxes there, those banker boxes, they call them, storage boxes. And on them, they're all lined up there. And on them it says Jefferson County, Oneida County, whatever county those items came from, the county is wrote on the outside. One of our medicine people from Bad River, he took down this box, and there's a table in the middle there, just a small table, enough for just a box. And we thought we were going to look at primitive tools or something, you know, something from 1700s that the people used. And when he took it down, he opened it up. And there were remains there. But what caught our attention and was very emotional was the little skull that came out of that box. It was about this big. And that child was, I'd say, anywhere 9, 10 maybe. So we asked them what happened there. Why was that skull in there, and why was it so small? And the curator had told us that my hair is long. This skull had no hair here, but you know how long time ago you used to see in the movie shows Japanese or Chinese people that had just that one braid in the hair patch here. That's how that skull was. It just had, and I don't know what they put on it to make that hair stay intact onto that skull, but that hair was so long. And on a little skull like that, you know, it just really shook you up. So the curator, we asked her, you know, what was that? Why was that there like that? And she explained to us that was a little girl of the Sioux people. She was confiscated, she was killed and confiscated in the Wounded Knee Massacre. That soldier that took her body let all of the flesh rot off it and kept her bones and cut her hair like that and left that patch there. And that came from one of the soldiers. To see that, it was really something to see. It was just shocking, and a lot of the elders cried. And we came back and we said, we can't let that be. We can't let that be like that, that little girl to be left there. She needs to be returned to her people. So we got a hold of Midwakudin, the Sioux tribe, and we let them know that she was there so that they could start the process to repatriate her back, her remains back. But we also have remains that we take out of the Historical Society or as in an inadvertent discovery. And the place that we have is, we call it Campbellsport. The Ho Chunk people put up a piece of land for us to reinter any Indian body. I believe that as long as we allow these remains to stay in the museums across the country here, we won't heal. And as you look around us, we're in turmoil. We're in turmoil right now. We're not healing. You know, and sometimes when I go and I do presentations, I always tell the students, long time ago, we would have told you, no, you don't belong in archaeology. You don't dig up what we have put into the ground. Well, that's different too now, because now we tell them, get a career in archaeology, because you have the Indian sensitivity that we need in order to help protect the graves. When you have a white archaeologist, a non-native archaeologist, they don't have that heart and they don't have that sensitivity to know what they're digging up or to care what they're digging up. So I say, you know, a career in archaeology is a good career for an Indian person, because then they know by their teachings what needs to be done and what shouldn't be done. Back in 1850, the Sandy Lake tragedy happened, where government from Minnesota, Ramsey, tried to remove our people illegally from Michigan and Wisconsin over to Sandy Lake in order to reap the benefits of our annuity payments. Well, by the time they told our people to come over there, it was like late October. Our people didn't have cars. Our only means of transportation was walking in canoe. But we made it over there. A lot of our people made it over there. And by the time they got over there, it was starting to turn cold. They waited and waited, and the rations and the payments never did come. And then in December was when they were able to distribute some of these payments and the rations, which were just little rations and little payment. And it forced our people to have to stay there until winter set in. So by that time, you know, everything was dispersed, what could be dispersed, and everybody just had little rations to come back home. But the hearts of our people were so strong back then that they wouldn't stay there. They started walking back home here. We lost 400 along the way. We lost 150 over there in Sandy Lake from measles, being starved, diseases, in just a bad way that was given to us when we went over there. But our people was strong to come back to the homeland, so they walked and they made it back here. In 2000, we went back there and we built a monument. And at that time, we worked with the Great Lakes Indian Fish and Wildlife Commission. And they asked each tribe, each Ojibwa tribe, to bring 40 rocks over there. So that's what we did. We gathered 40 rocks from all of our communities here, and we took them over there. And that forms your base of your monument. They have plaques. There's 19 plaques of all of the bands that were there. Of those 19 bands, there's 12 success bands of Ojibwa, and that's all of us here. Lac du Flambeau, Bad River, Red Cliff, Levitasir, Mole Lake, St. Croix, Mille Lacs, Fond du Lac. We all make up that. There's a burial mound there, which is a conical mound, and conical mounds usually hold burials. There's different type of burial mounds, but when you go over to McWindigosiwag, they take canoes across the lake to signify how the ancestors got there. And that they make that travel, and they pull up, and then we hold a feast and just kind of come together in goodness, I guess, in celebrating that we're still here, even though they tried to wipe us out at one time. The government dealt our people very wrong long ago, and I think we still suffer a lot from that. Historical trauma is what they call it. Boarding school is another area. We try and gather information to let the people know what happened in boarding school. Some people had a good experience. Some people didn't have a good experience. I know one of my elders here, he said he'd get slapped every time he spoke to his buddy in Ojibwa. And he said one time his ear got pulled because he was talking behind the garage with his friends in Indian, and the missionary or the preacher or whoever, the churchman, caught him and pulled his ear like that and drug him all the way. And when he got into dorm, he got punished more severely. He got whipped. But that's how they treated our people a long time ago, because they were scared of us. They didn't know us. They didn't know our way. They didn't know our beliefs. And during that time, it was, I think he was a general, General Pratt. And he made the quote, "Kill the Indian, save the man." And to this day, when I read his quote, I get upset. I get angry. because it was like, God, how can you, you know, we were human too, and they didn't see us that way. You know, how did they see us back then? You know, were we just no good? I don't think so, because we contribute a lot to our land. Our land means everything to us. And, you know, for St. Croix, I just think of those grandfathers long time ago. God, what such determination they had to keep fighting for us here in St. Croix, knowing that we didn't have nothing here. We were squatters. We parked any place, you know, set up camp anywhere. It didn't matter because we didn't have a land base like all of the other tribes. They got their land base in 1854. Ours didn't come until 1934. And there's a lot of controversy over that. Some say that Chief Yabans didn't go to the negotiations, so then we didn't get a treaty. But we've done research that shows, yes, he did go to that treaty, but he signed under LCO when he should have said, hey, no, I'm from St. Croix. I'm the chief of St. Croix. But he didn't, so they lumped us all under LCO. But a lot of our people said, no, we're not going up there. That's not our land up there. We're from here. So they stayed here, and that's where they started to squat. And then some of the old people started going to Washington, D.C., started attending Senate committees on Indian affairs here. We have pictures of some of our people at the Shell Lake Courthouse in 1909. There's a few of our people there that are giving testimony to why our people lost our land claims. We had, our land was here. We should have been able to claim our land here, but for some reason that didn't happen. So our people were able to go and speak on behalf of all of us so that we could get what we have here now. So that's another area where we cover, and I'm very grateful for this work because it has helped a lot of our people here. I don't really know what else I could possibly tell you.